let's get into our new weekly feature here that we do every Monday. You know, it's fun every Monday for us to do a little bit of rewind and look back at the movies that are turning 10 years old this week and also turning 20 years old this week. So let's get into Rewind right now, celebrating their 10th anniversaries. Oh boy, 10 years old. First, we've got Rise of the Guardians. Do you remember that one?
So good.
Chris Pine he plays Jack Frost, and they play like this, all the mythological creatures of the holidays forming some kind of original Avengers. Hey, it did pretty well, actually. Got a 74% critic rating.
Yeah.
You seem to be a big fan of this movie.
Yeah, I haven't seen it in quite some time, but it was so good. I love like thugged out Santa.
Yeah.
And was the Easter Bunny was it Hugh Jackman or someone Australian?
Oh,
was
you know
the
what?
Easter Bunny.
I haven't even thought about it, but it might have been him.
Yeah.
But anyway, it also did pretty well at the box office as it made, and bring the graphic back up, it made over $300 million at the box office, $306 million at the box office. Not bad for a movie most people do not remember at all. So not bad for that. Also coming out 10 years ago, Life of Pi, the Academy Award winning film, 86% critic rating, made over $600 million, which I don't think anybody would have thought this movie could make that kind of money. So there's that. Also, speaking of Chris Hemsworth, as we have been, also turning 10 years old, Red Dawn. Remember this one?
Peter.
The remake Red Dawn. The funny thing about this movie is this movie sat on a shelf completed for almost 3 years. And it was made before Chris Hemsworth did Thor. And then they decided to bring it afterwards. Not so great. 14% critic rating, made about $50 million.
They had to change it too because
Yes.
the villains were the Chinese, and they had to change it to the North Koreans in post. That wasn't good.
So there's that one as well. Okay, so those are the movies turning 10.
Wow, dude.
Let's look at the movies turning 20 years old, shall we? And we're going to start with the James Bond film, Die Another Day. Halle Berry hasn't aged a day in 20 years. I just saw her at the most recent UFC, and she has not aged a day in 20 years. But her and Pierce Brosnan, not an overly beloved James Bond film, but at 56%, so the majority of critics liked it, making $431 million at the box office, which 20 years ago, for a James Bond film, that was pretty damn good.
It was.
So there's that one. Also turning 20 years old this week, Friday After Next turns 20, which was after it came out, it turns out not so welcome follow-up, but it got a 26%, made not bad money considering the budget of it, $33.5 million. Can't believe that was 20 years ago. Also turning 20 this week is Frida. 76, a really good movie as a matter of fact.
Really is.
This one's a really, really solid movie. Made $56 million at the time. And also turning 20 years old this week is The Emperor's Club. That thing did about, it kind of came and went without much fanfare. The critics were completely divided on it right down the middle at 50. Only made about $16 million. Kind of came and went.
And Mark Zuckerberg's in it.
Well, Kevin Kline is in there. I love Kevin Kline. I absolutely love Kevin Kline. But yeah, that's kind of one of the more forgettable ones. When I look back at these, the two that stand out to me are, number one, Die Another Day. I really like Pierce Brosnan was like, a lot of people may not remember this, but he was the de facto choice by most people to be the new James Bond for years and years and years and years before they finally made him James Bond. I had fun with that movie. I kind of liked it. It's not the most beloved of the James Bond films, but I like that movie. The other one to me that stands out for all the wrong reasons probably is The Life of Pi. And it's unfortunate because the movie's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant and fantastic, and you're riveted to it. But unfortunately, I think when people now today and in the future will look back at The Life of Pi, I think for a lot of people in the industry and whatnot, we're going to be talking about the fact that it killed a visual effects house. That, it won Best Visual Effects at the Academy Awards. But the company was a Digital Domain at the time. Was that?
It was Rhythm and Hughes.
Rhythm and Hughes that did it. That's right.
Yeah.
Rhythm and Hughes, who then went out of business because of the way, and I think it was the event in the movie that really at first brought the spotlight to the fact that the economies of scale of the visual effects industry are not supportable under the current system and the way Hollywood treats it. And it's still conversations going on today about the way it happens. Companies are having to work at a loss. Employees, visual effects artists are working ridiculous numbers of hours for a pay. if you look at it at an annual salary, you think they do pretty good. But if you actually break it down to an hourly thing, it's not sustainable. It's an unhealthy thing. And the company that won Best Visual Effects at the Academy Award then went out of business because of it. And it's unfortunate that such a brilliant movie is going to be thought of in that way. Anyway, Rob, as you look at these movies that turn 10 and 20 years old this week, what are the ones that stand out to you?
Well, the ones that really that resonate with me are Die Another Day, because I was a big Bond fan. And Die Another Day was the last Pierce Brosnan movie. And I kind of felt bad because I think it's half a good movie and half a really bad movie. And I wish that he had had a better, dude, it's got an invisible car in it. I mean, come on. And not only that, and I get where they were coming from, but not only does it have an invisible car, but in this movie, they go to an ice hotel in Iceland.
And I think it's real, isn't it?
Yeah, they have a real something, but they ship this Aston Martin to Iceland so he can drive around and get into a car chase on the ice.
I see no problems with this.
Well, but no one's going to ship that car there. It's like you get picked up at the airport and driven to the, and that's also the one with the terrible CGI of him windsurfing.
Again, I see no problem with it.
I mean, it's just, and Madonna is in it. Although I will say this, it has a great sword fight, and I love the opening in North Korea.
Yeah.
When he gets captured, and I thought that idea was good. And the sword fight with Madonna as a sword master, and she did her song.
Again, I have no problem with this.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying, there's a giant laser weapon at the end that's coming down from. Why don't you just fly around the laser weapon? Anyway, look, there's still some joy to be had in this movie. And then, of course, Life of Pi is a brilliant movie. I love it. Ang Lee's one of my favorite filmmakers. Yeah. What a brilliant realization of that book. And I never saw that animated film, Rise of the Guardians.
Oh, it was fun.
But knowing what it's about, I want to see it now. That appeals to me.
All right, guys, question is for you. Out of these movies that have turned 10 to 20, you know what? All of these ones feel like they were that long ago.
Yeah.
You know, Life of Pi feels like it was 10 years ago. A lot of times these movies come out, we're like, wait, that turned 20? But which of these movies that celebrate either their 10th or 20th anniversary this week stands out to you the most? Whatever one that is, jump down into the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. Guys, we want to take a second to thank a sponsor of this video, DraftKings. DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL, should be your go-to when betting on the NFL this holiday season. With things like same-game parlays, easy and fast payouts, player props, and more. Right now, new customers can bet just $5 on any NFL team to win their game and get $150 in free bets if they do. And check this out. Right now, everyone can earn up to a 100% boost with DraftKings stepped-up same-game parlays. Just go to the DraftKings Sportsbook app, place a same-game parlay, and combine multiple bets like which team will win, player props, total points, and more. The more legs you add, the bigger the boost, the bigger your shot to win big. Personally, I like the Rams to pull off a big upset win over the Chiefs next weekend. So download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use the code Campea. Place a $5 bet on any NFL team to win their game and get $150 in free bets if they do. Only at DraftKings Sportsbook with the code Campea. Minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. See show notes for details.